Hi, Jason from Sightsolutions here again with another video in our Reflow series. In this video, we will be looking at how to set up equipment pages in your Reflow project and how we can then set that out for the rest of your project and build a navigation around it. Okay, so we're back in our project, in our web browser, and we're in Reflow config mode. So within your project then, you want to go to your left and nav tree in the Reflow menu, and we're going to add some equipment to this project. So we want to click under equipment. Now initially when you start Reflow for the first time, you're going to find some equipment types already listed out here, like air handling units, etc. And they are set up as an example for you to kind of work with and get an idea of those. I've actually taken them out of this project purely just for demonstrating purposes, because I'm going to do one from scratch and then we're going to come back to one I've already made to do the full onboarding. So let's do that. Let's add an equipment type in. I'm going to call this one test fan coil units. So within this area, you can see you've got a points template area. Now you can add groups where you can put all your points into various groups, and that will then display on the pages nice and neat, and you've got all your headings then and everything's kind of organized. So in order to know and understand what points we're dealing with, let's go into our station. And remember, this is a demo station, so it's not actually connected to a network of fan coil units, so like you would expect with individual devices. So I've just set this up with some folders and some native points within my supervisor. So as you can see, I've got two buildings that we set up earlier, and I've got my fan coil units across 2 floors and a basement, and then my building 2, I've got the same, and I've got some in the office and some in the gallery. So let's just focus on floor 1, and we've got fan coil unit 1 there, and you can see all the points that I've added in there. So all of these naming conventions and everything to win the day. So as you can see, fan coil unit 1 listed all the points there, with all the points you would typically expect on a fan coil unit. So what we want to do, now we know what the names are, we want to add those in. So I'm just going to have a quick look through there. So yeah, we've got a couple of temps there. So let's just add a temperatures group. So just call that one temperatures. Now all of these switches, as you can see, give you options to be able to change the look and feel of how this will come in on your equipment page. I'm not going to change any of this at the moment because it'll make more sense once you've got something to look at. But by all means, jump in and have a play around with these and suit it to your project as required. So I'm going to keep it default. I've got my group temperatures here now, so I'm going to fold that up. Now what I want to do, I'm going to add my 2 temps. So I've got a supply temp and a return temp. So if you click on the little add a new point button here, the Reflow does utilize regular expressions. I'm not going to go into regular expressions. If it's something you are familiar with, then fill your boots, enjoy that, go through it. I'm just going to add this in as is within this list. So we're going to call the point name within Reflow. So you could change it to a suitable, more friendly name if you wanted to, and remove the camel case. So I'm going to do that. So this is where this is what's going to be displayed in Reflow in this box. So let's call this one supply temperature. Okay, so that's its full name. And this area here is what Reflow is going to look for auto detect. So I'm going to call it its actual name as it's written out in the station. Like that. Okay, so that's my 1 point added in there now, so we can see that's there. That's its Niagara name in the darker grey box there. So let's add another point to this group. So again, I'm going to give it its friendly name in here. And its Niagara name, like so. Okay, so we've got 2 points there now. And let's add some points into the ungroup. So we're just giving you a brief example of how you would set this up. And then we'll jump across into the one I made earlier and we'll get everything loaded in. So there's the fan enable. Probably want to put a space in there, and then for auto detect. You get the idea, you just set these up. Now you're thinking, is there a quicker and speedier way of doing this? There is, but initially you would have to set one up first, You can actually export these points templates in and out of Reflow from within your station environment. So if you've got quite a few to do and a quite extensive amount, take them out into your spreadsheet packages and edit them there and then put them back in. So let's just add one more point. Let's just choose heating command. Okay. And I tell you what, I'm going to add, because I've just noticed it, my space temperature. Forgot about that one. Okay. And that is called base temp. And I tell you what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to add my set points. Let's do a set points group. Like that. And then let's add a set point in there. Move this over so I can see its full name. There we go. Add these in. It'll all make sense in a moment. Now I'm just going to add its Niagara name in. There we go. So we've added our points in now. Now do remember to click Save Equipment Type. It will prompt you if you don't. Okay, so we've got... Okay, so there's one thing you need to remember as well. To turn the pluralized name off. Because it adds the ES if you've already put an S on it. Okay, so come out of that. So we're right back in the beginning. So we've got one I've made earlier, but let's quickly go into test fan coil units here. And we'll go into the settings and the summary views in a moment, but I'll just show you now. So we've set up a few points in there now. Let's add some devices. So we want to go into where that is located now within our station. Let's just fold this up. There we go. Get a better view. And let's come down into our fan coil units. Fan coil unit 1. Click next. So it's going to ask you a display style. We want to keep everything Reflow based, keeping it fully responsive from the devices that you're viewing from. You can tailor it to Niagara HX if your Niagara pages that you are going to attach don't have that responsive element, but I'm going to keep it as is recommended by Reflow, so let's do that one. So now you can attach a graphic for your equipment. Now you can use a static image if you want to just speed those elements out, just add a static image, but I'm quite favorable of an image that has some nice animations and bits and pieces on. So I've already made one of those. So I'm going to attach the component's default Niagara view. So if you've added a PX view to your folders or your devices within your station, it will then pull that through automatically for you. So I'm just going to click that. I'm going to keep everything default, but I am going to add a thumbnail image. So when it lists everything out in Reflow, it's going to have a nice little thumbnail. So you've got that nice little look and feel as you're going through all the equipments. So where have I put it? It's in assets and it's in thumbnails. And let's choose that one. Let's go next. Okay, so previous video we looked at how to set up a building. You're going to want to build your building, get all that set up, and the reason for that is for assigning floors within your equipment. So we know that this fan coil unit is in building 1 and it's on floor 1, so we want to do that. The reason why we do that is Reflow will then put all the equipment in the areas that they are in a nice grid form on the right hand side of the page. When you're scrolling through all the equipment, you can view it by floor, by building, etc. So it indexes everything automatically for you. You can add a room name if you want to. I'm going to keep it blank for now. And if you do have other elements of equipment in the building, so for example, if there was an air handling unit in this project, I could assign it to this fan coil unit to show what it's being served by. So that gives it another element of navigation, and the end user can then understand the building and what's connected in items of plant a little bit easier for you. Status point you can add, but I've not added it into this current template, so that will give you, as it says here, whether that is overridden in alarm, fault, down, etc. But obviously I'm not on a network of fan coil units at the moment, so no need for that at the minute. Schedule, we want to add a schedule. I need to go and find my schedule, so it's in my building 1. Fan coil units floor 1. There we go, got one there. So last little check then, we've got everything set up, so you can see now it's gone and found the points. You can see that it's found them. And some ungroup ones in here as well. The heating command hasn't found. Now there's a reason for that, but we'll go and manually find it anyway. Might be an error on the auto detect when I type that in, but we've assigned it anyway, so this is the last place you can find it. Have a little check on all your points, so let's click finish, and there we go, you've just onboarded a piece of equipment. So this is your card, so this is where your thumbnail is represented, and it's currently showing the supply temperature. Now we'll come back to featured points shortly when we bring in everything else, but as you can see quite quickly you've brought in a piece of equipment. So when you do click on it, this is now the individual equipment page for this piece of equipment. So I've pulled in my PX view into that. Now what you can do, if you come into the device now, so we're in the equipment type, we want to go to the device, so it's brought in the device now within this list, and we can make some changes to suit this now. So the graphic, I want to keep it as is. That's where you can change anything if you wish to. Points, you can add more points if you need to. And what I want to do, you can come into your points, make some adjustments there, add more groups if you wish to. But obviously this is only going to be done at this individual device level. You want to try and keep everything within the points template, which I'll demonstrate next. We've done that now, so let's click on the card, and there's your equipment page. You can see there you've got your navigation across the top there. You can make changes to the schedule that's connected to these, as you can normally in any Niagara view, PX view. I'm not going to change any of those, just keep them for now, but that's where you can do it. You can do it at the device level, or you could do it from the schedules, but we'll come to that in another video. So I want to now be able to change some of these cards, but I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's do that when we've added in all the devices. So that was a little overview of how you set up a template, but let's go back to the one I've already done. So we've got our test fan coil units group, so we'll keep that one there for now. So let's go into this one. Okay, so quick look at the points template. You can see I've set up a few groups, got my temperatures, and everything else is onboarded in there, ready to go. Now, I mentioned about the featured point, so when you click this star on any particular point, that is going to be the default point that will be on the card, the highest level of the equipment page. If you come back here, I'll quickly show you. You can see that that one is just currently showing supply temperature, but if you click a featured point, that's where it will be. So in my list, in my template, I've added my space temp as my featured point. So let's go and add all of the fan coil units in. Okay, now they're all the same. They have all the same points, but you can perhaps set up your equipment types to suit that. So you may have a cooling only fan coil unit, you may have a heating and cooling, so you can set up your templates to suit that if the points differ. Get the idea, but then that will be listed within Reflow. So let's just do that. Let's go for it. So we come back, we've still got our test Fanco unit there. And we're going to onboard all of them now within this Fanco unit's equipment type. So let's add in our devices. And let's go through the station. And let's just go and find them all. Oop, one layer too far. So let's just add all of them in, because I know that they're all the same. Just click through them all like that. Building 2. And then, come on, keep going. And then there should, yeah, there's one in the gallery of building 2. Okay, so I'm going to click next. I'm going to want a Reflow recommended view. And I want the components default Niagara view for that. And I'm just going to keep thumbnail image as it is. Okay, so things to consider, because I've onboarded all of them and they're across different buildings and different floors, you can go through all 21 and change them as you like. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to onboard them all, and then I'm going to show you another feature if you want to come back and edit groups of them. So this is where it's important to make sure that you do that assignment, because then Reflow will index everything and you'll be able to navigate around those equipment types quite nicely. So let's just go to finish, and it's going to go and configure 21 more devices, and I'm going to click continue, and it's just going to save all of them in there. Okay, so you can see them all in here now in this list. Now what I want to do, if I go into my station, I want to look at where each individual Fanco unit lives within my project. So what I can do, if you click in your list, so if you look on the right hand side here, you see all the cards, they're not assigned to any floors or anything. So if we click edit, it's a nice new feature now in this version of Reflow 1.6, is we can click all the ones that we know belong to building 1 floor 1. So let's do that, let's find them all. Now because it's got a lead in 0, it's not made that too easy for me. There's 4, 5 and 6. Okay, then you come up to here, so I've got 6 selected, and I can choose my actions. So I can remap from the point template if I want to add some more points, or there's other devices. You can assign floors, or you can assign the schedules. So I'm going to want to assign the floors first and foremost. And I want to assign it to building 1, floor 1. Okay, if I click assign now, that's gone and done that, and that's now assigned them to a building and a floor. And I want to do the same again now. And find them again. They're easy to spot now because I've got the building 1 tags on there. And then I want to go to actions, and then I want to assign schedule to that. So we'll go off into the station and then locate where that schedule lives in your project. So go to floor 1, and there's my schedule there. So move this over slightly, and then choose my schedule and click assign. And there we go. You can start to edit these to suit your project as you wish. So if I go into the first one now, I can click on here, and I can see now up here I've got my building 1, floor 1 and my schedule. I can click on the schedule if I want to go and change it. Not going to, but I'll keep that it as is. And then you can access your global schedules within your project from here, but we'll cover that in another video. So I'm going to stop there. I'm going to then fast forward, and all of this will be assigned, and we'll have a look at the equipment top level. Okay, and as if by magic, they've all been organized and assigned. And I've even moved these in sequential order, because obviously the lead in 0, Niagara tries to put everything in a little bit of a different order. So you can do that by moving these. Oh, let's go back a step. If you just touch the little edge of the card there, you can move these around, and as you move this list around, they will move around in the page view as well, in the equipment type page. So that's all the fan coil units assigned for across the two buildings on their various floors. Okay, so this is just the card view, and you can look at the table view, so you can see everything and some of the key points, and you can make your own custom summary view. So I'll quickly show you how you can do that. So within your equipment type, if you go to summary views, now there's a grid view and a table view, and you add a summary view in. I've already done one already and called it my view, and then you can add various amounts of columns for that. And to note, as it says here, the points used for columns will be selected automatically and featured points will be prioritized. So you can make your own custom views based across your equipment types, basically. So that's how you can do that. Let's come back out. Let's go all the way back. So you can see now you've got all of your fan coil units all listed out. Now you don't necessarily have to have all of the fan coil units in one equipment type. You can break those out per floor if you wanted to. So rather than having across two buildings and multiple floors, you could step them out. So imagine fan coil units are quite extensive in some bigger buildings and some projects. You can have them up into the hundreds. So you probably want to maybe do your equipment types per floor. So you could call this equipment type list, first floor fan coil units, and then you can edit everything here, and then you just have a list between your buildings and do it that way. So good housekeeping and naming conventions, as always, win the day. So if we go to group by building, we can see now across the two buildings all of the equipment that we have, and we can group by type. So we've got our test ones here. So obviously we've only used fan coil units for an example in today's video, but this would populate with various other bits of kit. So you would have an air handling unit, you might have some pumps, you might have boilers, you might have all of that good stuff that brings a building together in your building management system, and it will all be displayed here. So if we go to our buildings now, we've got building 1 and building 2. If we click all buildings, we can see our map view that we set up on the two buildings, and if we click into building 1, you can see our floors that we set up, and also now we've got equipment populated underneath here that is associated to that building. Again, now we've got your navigation sub-menu here for this particular building, so let's jump into building 2. And again, you can see all the equipment now for building 2. If we do go back to the all buildings page, you can now see how many floors and how many devices you have within your project. It's all starting to come together now. So let's go back to building 1. So that covers equipment and how you can bring that into your project very, very quickly, and you can edit and change things quite quickly if you do make mistakes, and you can cover that quite efficiently. So as you can see now, floor plans don't have any pictures in them, and we'll have a look at that in the next video. And what you're going to be able to do then is add your equipment to a floor plan page, and then you get that extra level of navigation and view into the building and the systems that are associated to it. Okay, we'll put a pin in that one for now. Please do leave some comments down in the comment section below, and make sure that you do like and subscribe. You can also head over to our other YouTube videos over at Pt.3 on our channel there. And if you'd like some more information with everything that NiagaraMods are doing, please head over to their website, NiagaraMods.com. And also check out our website, which is Sightsolutions. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. See you soon.